Hi everyone. I've been vlogging so much recently. I just came back from my headshot session for Runway For Recovery. I'm sweating because it's like stupid hot outside and I'd been on mass transit for a long time, which is why I thought I'd change it up with my scenery and have my little picture of Manhattan behind me, because I haven't been on mass transit in a very, very, very long time. So just like randomly sharing stuff about this whole headshot thing. You can look up Runway for Recovery on social media. That's the runway show that I'm going to be doing in October. So as part of that, today we met in Boston, like in Boston, to do headshots. It doesn't really matter what they use the headshots for, but whatever. But it was the first time that like I was in a room with like primarily all people, I mean there were men and women there, but like everyone that was there pretty much, with a couple of exceptions, had breast cancer. And it was just I don't have the right adjective, so I'm just gonna share. So first of all, you know, it's funny the small lifestyle things that change. One of which apparently is that like I was told that like I put my chin, I mean, I guess it's good to have your chin up, but not so much for pictures. So I have to be like all sultry and put my chin down and look at you going up so I don't look so like heavy, I guess. My hair looked a lot better before. I didn't get super dolled up. You're not really supposed to. But it was nice to get like I got up this morning, I put on a dry clean only top. It's a top that I normally, before I had cancer, didn't really wear a lot because it's sleeveless. I don't even know how to explain. I'm not like a fashionista. Anyway, I obviously changed my shirt, so it doesn't really matter. But the point is you can't wear like a bra with it because it has like the straps are like right here. And if you wore a bra, it would look stupid. And now that I have like fake boobs that aren't saggy, I can get away with wearing that outfit. And even though my right boob is still a little bit higher than my left, you can't tell it all with that shirt. And it's a dark color, so it was like 100 degrees outside. Again, not exaggerating. It hit 101 today on my car. And I'm sweating so much, and you can't tell. I will say, since I started the Gabapentin, which has been just about a week, I have noticed a large reduction in my hot flashes. I mean, it's hot anyway outside, but I can tell the difference between when I'm hot and when I'm having a hot flash. And it's interesting because when she prescribed the Gabapentin, she said like the typically what they do is you take one pill in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one at night, and that gets you through like the day and then lets you have a good night's sleep. I've only been taking one in the morning, and that's like enough. I'm also very sensitive to medication, so again, that's just me, but I tend to, my body like overreacts to meds. So like me just taking one during the day is like, I guess, a lot and enough. I'm not saying that the hot flashes are gone, but they happen significantly less I've noticed in the past week. Yay, let's hope that lasts. So got up early this morning, put that on, put my white jeans on, which I normally never would wear white jeans, but because of the Lupron, glass half full here. Today is very glass half full. Because of the Lupron, like I shouldn't be getting any periods, so I won't get my period, and that means I can wear white jeans. So wore the white jeans. Disappointing because they're kind of falling apart, literally. They're made out of like the spandexy stuff with the denim material, and it's like every time I wear them it stretches more and it looks worse and worse and worse. But anyway, so yeah, I wore that, and then I went to work earlier than usual because I knew I had to leave early. I don't live that far from Boston, but with mass transit I don't know how long it would take me to get in, and to drive in I could do that, but it was just like I didn't want to walk far from a parking lot, and it just seemed like more of a headache to drive in than just to take the, mass transit to get in. But when I left work today, I did two very minor errands, like nothing long. I literally just like I picked up COVID tests, woohoo, our library is giving out COVID tests to residents, and I mean, they're free. I don't have any, or I have one, I think, left, and that's it. So I got those, then I picked up something else, again, just popped out of my car, and I noticed, like, my ankles started swelling. I don't know if it's related to the heat or not, something I should probably bring up at some point, but, like, my right ankle, or my left ankle in particular, was, like, really swollen. And I didn't know what to expect out of this whole headshot thing. I know that they said they were gonna have, like, light refreshments and rosé. Of course, everything has to be pink, 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 pink. And I'm like, you know, are people going to be super dressed up? Like, you know, how dressed is too dressed? I don't know. So I just kind of went smart casual, and like, I just had my jeans and that dry clean only top on, but like shoes wise, originally I'm like, oh, I'll bring heels to wear with me, or to bring with me and switch out once I get like out of the train. And as I was getting ready and fixing my makeup and stuff before I was leaving, I look at those heels and I'm like, I'm not wearing heels. I just can't. I wanted to put my feet up to like elevate them before I left, because again, of the swelling. Actually, it's funny, is I haven't even noticed. Oh my Lord, they're swollen. Jeez. What the hell that's all about? That's crazy. It's a little bit on my right side, but it's like all my left side. I don't know why that happens. I don't know if that's the heat. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to have my feet up. I'm actually going to switch my back around and listen to my body. See what a fine example I set, because I need to elevate these feet. I don't like the swelling. I also don't need you to see my entire apartment. Here. Come here for a sec. Give me a hug for a second. I don't need you to see everything. Like how my shirt says Amour. I think I got this from Stitch Fix too. I need to put my foot up. So still in Manhattan, because look, there's the Brooklyn Bridge. But I need to get my foot up, because I don't know what the hell is going on with this swelling. Ugh. Anyway. So, my foot was swollen. And I'm like, I'm not wearing heels. There's the clock. It's like clockwork if the clock goes off. But I wanted to like lay down for a bit to elevate my feet to make the swelling ease up, because that's pretty much the only thing that makes it ease up, before I started heading over to Boston. But I was just running out of time. I guess a good and bad thing. I've been into Boston since I've had cancer. I've logged, I think, from there too, because I've gone to MGH quite a few times. I hope that ends quick. But I think I primarily have been driving into MGH. I don't think I've really been on the T in a really, really long time. If you don't know, the T is the public transit system in Boston, or in the Boston area. So yeah, it felt like normal to be going there to do something social. Like, I'm going into Boston to do something social, even though it's, you know, about, you know, the C word. But it felt like old Jen that would be like, oh, I'm going to go to the public garden today, and I'll just like go on the T and go for a walk and look at the ducks, or whatever like kitschy things I would do. And it just felt really normal. But since things are letting up from the pandemic, we're back to like traffic. And the T is like, I've never had as many delays as I have today compared to like any time I've been on the T. Granted, like my headshots were at 5:20 p.m., which is like smack right in the middle of rush hour. So, yeah, so I parked my car and then took a train to a bus to get there. And even the navigating part, which is different from how I used to be, I don't do mass transit well. I do mass transit far better than I used to, but it's not my best friend. I've gotten far better at it. If I rewind, Back in the day, I think I was like 32. I had my older son, but not my younger son. I went to Chicago with my then husband. It was just the two of us. And he was doing his thing for work, whatever. And I wanted to go to the Field Museum. And we were staying like right in like downtown Chicago. So I was not a mass transit taker. Even though I grew up like right near Manhattan, I really didn't take the train very often at all. Anyway, so I asked like in the hotel how to get to the museum. They're like, you hop on the bus. It's like 1 or 2 stops and boom, you're there. I'm like, awesome, super easy. So I go out of the hotel. I see the bus pulling up. I'm like, perfect timing. Hop on the bus and I'm on the bus and I'm on the bus. And I go 1 stop, 2 stops, 3 stops, 4 stops. And I'm like, it's not here because these stops don't say the museum that I want to go to. I'm like, okay, I'll just have some patience. And I'm going. And I look out the right window and I'm like, oh, look, there's the water. Was it Lake Erie? I think is right there. And I'm like, wait a minute. It should be on my left side, not my right side. So clueless non-urbanite that I was at the time, didn't get that you have to pay attention to which side of the road you're getting into the bus from to make sure you're going in the right direction. So I said, like, everybody basically got off the bus and the bus driver was like, ma'am, where you're heading to? And I'm like, I'm going to the Field Museum. And he's like, that was 2 stops the other direction from when you got on. And I'm like, okay, what do I do? And I think we ended up at the train station or the bus station, which is not in the greatest neighborhood. And he's like, don't get off the bus. He's like, stay on the bus. And he's, he after such time, he's, going to turn the bus around and head back down the other direction. And lo and behold, like I waited and stuff and saw some interesting sights and got, he turned the bus around and went on his merry way. And lo and behold, the museum was like 2 stops from where I got on, but in the other direction. So, lesson learned. I used to go down to Manhattan quite a bit and never really got the subway system there. I don't know why I'm talking so much about mass transit. But after spending so much time in Manhattan and trying to understand the subway system and not really getting it, I started my landmark work not too long after that. And the Landmark Center is, if you drive down there, it could take you like an hour and a half, 2 hours, which is crazy. I used to go like once a week. If you take the T, you're just like sitting there and I could grade papers or something or get work done or whatever while I'm on the train. So I would take the T down to Landmark like sometimes even twice a week for a really long time. And didn't think anything of it and then just became like really good at mass transit and at least in the Boston area on certain lines. I remember I did a radio course. This is like get to know Jen time. This is why I ramble for so long. I took a radio course and they were like, does anyone want tickets to see Imagine Dragons? And I'm like, totally. And they were playing like that night. And I was like, well, how do I get there? I didn't have my car with me. I was in like downtown Boston and I had to figure out how to get down. The concert was in Rhode Island, I think. Pretty sure it was in Rhode Island. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know how to get there. And they're like, take the purple line. And I know now that like the red line and the blue line and the orange line and the green line, all those lines you can use your Charlie card for, but you can't use it for the purple line. And the purple line is a line I needed to go on. And I'm like, well, how do I get on the purple line? They're like, you have to go to South Station. I'm like, okay. Oh my gosh. Fast forward. I get to the concert. It's an amazing concert. And it all worked out. Oh, and then on the way home, that was even more complicated because there was like 1 purple line left going back up to Boston, like for the night. So I had to actually leave the concert a little bit early to be able to like catch the last train that went back up. But anyway, the point is that I felt empowered once I got to understand like how to get places with mass transit. And, this whole cancer process, there's a lot of moments when you don't feel empowered because you feel like you have no control. And you really don't have control over the mass transit system either, only to a certain extent, I guess. But I wasn't looking at my phone. I plugged in the directions of like, here's my endpoint of where I want to get to. I had a general idea of where I was going. It was a part of Boston that I don't think I've ever been to before, even though it's a major stop. But it's funny. It's just a change in how I am. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared I would miss something or whatever. Even when I plugged it into the app, it kept saying like, this train is delayed 20 minutes. And I'm like, holy shit. All the years I've been in this area, I've lived here for a little over 10 years. I've never seen the delays like what was like going on when I went down today. I don't know if it was just rush hour or if it was the pandemic or whatever the heck is going on, but like there were some serious delays. And then other things would say, oh, the train came like 10 minutes early. So I'm like, you know what? I know generally where I'm going. So like, I'm going to put the phone away and just like follow my instincts as to where I'm supposed to go and pay attention to which direction I'm supposed to go into. Boston's pretty easy to navigate that way with mass transit. But anyway, I got there. And when I got there, I was like, I couldn't find the address. I mean, I knew the number, whatever, but I'm looking around and I'm like, I don't see that number anywhere. So I stopped at a Dunkin' Donuts, got an apple juice, and I'm like, I'll find it. And I literally looked to my left side and there's the logo for Runway for Recovery on the door. I'm like, what do you know? I guess this is where I'm supposed to be. So I go up and it's in this gorgeous room, like beautiful wood, gorgeous. Like if you're into architecture and that kind of stuff, like, oh my gosh, beautiful wood, like leather couches, just like everything was just pretty, like super pretty, like man pretty, because the place was owned by some, well, I shouldn't say some guy. I think she said it was owned by someone who used to be a goalie for the Bruins, if I understood that correctly. If I was a bigger Bruins fan, I would know who it was, but I don't remember. Anyhow, it was really pretty. And like I got there weren't a ton of people there. I had a couple pictures taken inside, and then she said she was going to take some outside. The interesting thing, when she did the pictures inside, it was like a professional photographer, and she tells me where to stand, and I see her camera, and I'm like, I don't know where to put stuff. Like, do I put my arm out? Like, I don't pose for pictures like that. Like, I didn't know what to do. And then I realized that no one has taken pictures of me, of my face, since all this happened. Like when someone says to me, I need to take your picture, stand here, do this, do that, they're taking pictures of my boobs for like befores and afters and like how things are progressing. And they're doctors. So when she like had the camera faced up, like up at my face, I was like, it's kind of weird to have, like, to be in a situation related to breast cancer and have someone taking a picture of my face and not my boobs. It's just weird, just something weird. I don't know. And then we went outside, and it was like literally like 100 degrees. It was hot out, and where we were is right by the Zakim Bridge, and the Zakim Bridge is a pretty big landmark in Boston. Like if you have magnets or something from Boston, you'll probably see the Zakim Bridge in the background or something. But she had pictures with us and with the Zakim Bridge in the background, so I can't wait to see them. And then she was guiding me a little bit of like, put your hand here, do this, don't go like this, because then you have 25 chins, whatever. So we'll see what they look like. I don't know. But she was super kind. And then when we went back, they had some stuff to snack on. And like everything is pink, of course, because it's breast cancer, everything is pink. And everything to drink was pink. And I have a strawberry allergy. So pink is not great for me when it comes to food or drink, because I look at all the pictures and I'm like, they're all pink. I'm like, are they pink because they have strawberry? Because that will be a very bad day for me. Turned out they were raspberry. But still, So I sat down and I had some stuff to eat because it was around dinner time anyway. Nothing big. And I just kind of took it all in. Like, people were coming in, and the woman who runs the whole thing, was introducing me, and I remembered two names. Wait, I just forgot one. I remember one name, someone that I was talking to for most of the night. Like, old me would have been like, oh, let me get your cell phone, let me, Facebook friend you, whatever. And I'm like, I'm just absorbing this for what it is, and that's it. Like, slow down my pace. And listening to stories of, like, other people's experiences. Chemo experiences, radiation experiences. What doctor do you see? What hospital do you go to? There's a lot to choose from in the Boston area. What was your experience with this plastic surgeon? And it was just so interesting. And, like, almost everyone I would say in that room seemed relatively young. Someone thought I was 35. I'm like, ooh, thank you. But no, I'm not. I'm 50. But everyone pretty much looked around the same age, which is just so interesting. These young women, and not all. And this one woman had, like, fantastic hair. And I was like, I love your hair color. And the woman next to me was like, I was going to say that, like, your haircut's awesome. And then she made some comment. It was a wig. It wasn't her, I mean, it was her hair, but not her hair. It was a wig. And I'm like, wig or not? I'm like, you have awesome friggin' hair. And it made me realize that, like, for people that don't know what to say to me and say the wrong thing, I've vlogged about that, I felt a lot like I was saying the wrong thing because I haven't had chemo and I haven't had radiation. I haven't needed to wear a wig or understand what it's like to wear a wig. And I just felt like, am I saying the wrong things to all these people? But no one really seemed to get offended by any of it. People shared their stories about, stuff that happens, especially from radiation. I hear a lot of awful stories about what happens to people that have reconstruction or even not and have radiation. Radiation really fucks up your body and your skin. And I'm so grateful that I didn't have it done. And I almost felt like bad that, like, not bad, but, I didn't have chemo or radiation. Not that what I went through was any less, because, like, I was talking about, I had my Zaminian infusion last week. And there's a woman there that said, like, she can't take Zaminian infusions. So, like, it's like everyone has a cross to bear, and some have more than others. And I didn't feel, it's not like, I don't mean this in a mean way, but I didn't feel sorry for anyone that was there. I was just, like, interested to hear their stories. And then, like, many of them were pretty far out. One person had her surgery right around the same time that I did. And I also heard, like, positive things. Like, some people apparently there's this, like, fly fishing thing for, like, breast cancer survivors. And I'm like, that sounds like a freaking hoot. Like, I'd love to do that. I know about First Descents because, ironically, I interviewed Johanna Gorton, who is a breast cancer survivor. I interviewed her for Neighbors to Know. I personally have not even reached out to First Descents, but she did ice climbing, I think. Well, I know she did ice climbing because, like, I had pictures during my interview of her while she was doing that, but she talked about First Descents. Johanna actually went with me to my first plastic surgery appointment, the woman that I ended up not liking, and I was so grateful that she was there with me. Anyway, if you're curious, you can watch that on Neighbors to Know, Johanna Gorton. She also told me about, or taught me about craniosacral therapy. And I've had Reiki done a few times with her. Anyway, so there are these other things that I'm like, I want to get on that bandwagon where I do, like, fun things and surround myself with people who have been through this. That it's not Like tonight was not depressing at all. Not depressing. It's not like I was jumping for joy. At one moment I did. I'll get to that. But it wasn't depressing. Tomorrow after my colposcopy, I will, I have my SMART group, stress management and resilience training for breast cancer survivors. And, I mean, that's different because it's through Zoom, and it's interesting hearing people's stories too. But like, I like to do things where like I'm living life, and there's also considerations because I've had reconstruction and I've had frozen shoulder, and like obviously I have some, you know, physical things that make me not be able to do things like I used to 100%. And to be around other people that get that would be awesome. And I've never been fly fishing. I'm sure there's other things too, but it was a really nice night. And then I look over and I see a pool table. Granted, I have a pool table at my apartment complex, but it's like, it's crooked. It's like ripped. The cues, some of them are missing the tops, like whatever. This place was like swanky. They even had a bridge. So I see like the guys are all over there playing pool, and like the women are pretty much everywhere else, but the guys were just over there playing pool. And I'm like, I want to play pool. I haven't played pool since surgery. Yeah, I didn't know like with the, you know, pushing of a cue, if that was going to like cause an issue or something. Yeah, they were finishing up stuff. I finished eating and I'm like, I want to play pool. So I said to the woman who runs the whole thing, I'm like, I want to play pool. And she's like, go play pool. I'm like, okay. And the woman next to me said she'd play with me. I'm like, yay, a partner. Woohoo. So we played pool, and she was kicking my ass for quite some time. But it felt nice to like play pool, like with, it's like grade school. Will you play with me? You know, it was nice. It sounds like so juvenile, but it was nice to like want to play a game, and someone just easily said, oh, I'll play with you. That doesn't happen a lot when you get to be older. And I had like a nice cue, and there was chalk, and the table was clean and pretty, and the balls were pretty. They even had balls that had Bruin symbols on them, or symbols, the logo. Yeah, she whipped my butt for a bit, but then I won. Not by scratching. I actually like won. I was stripes, and I won. I called the 8-ball, and it actually went where I wanted it to go, and I'm like, cool. And I won. Like, it's the first time I play pool. I used to play pool a lot, like back in the day. I thought I was great at it. It was just fun, kind of like my tennis game. And my arm didn't bother me, and it was funny because when I was bending over to reach stuff, I was like, oh yeah, back in the day, I would bend over to reach stuff. You like to flirt with the boys and stuff. You know, this was like, I guess my college days and stuff. But yeah, I always remember like, you know, leaning over and like, hey, maybe I'll get a drink because look at my cleavage. And today, I didn't have any cleavage. I'm getting that fixed eventually. But I didn't have any cleavage. I wasn't wearing a bra. And it's not just, it's not a matter of beating her. It was the fact that I won. Like, I still got it, you know? And it was just fun. It was a nice night. And then we had goodie bags. It was time to go home, and it took me a little finagling to figure out how to get back where I was supposed to go. But I did it, and the train was like or the bus, or whatever the hell. It's like underground quasi bus / well, it's not a train, it's a bus. It's the Green Line, if you're local. But it was like really delayed. Like we were just like stopped for the longest time, and then like we'd go like 2 more feet and then just stop. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Like, it's late, I should be getting ready for bed, but I'm just like, I had such a nice time. And I'm so excited now not that I wasn't before, but now that I have more faces to names and I guess more shared experiences, knowing like what I'm walking into with this whole runway thing, I can't wait for it to be here. It's October, it's a while. And you know, if I lose the weight, then I lose the weight. They do hair and makeup there for me, so I don't have to worry. They can figure out if they want my hair curly or straight or whatever. They'll do my makeup. I get dressed. There's businesses that dress me. I don't get to keep this stuff, but like, you know, they dress me, and they purposely don't have you go for a fitting until like 2 weeks before the event, because especially with cancer and treatment, like you don't know with yo-yoing like what your weight's gonna be. Like I'd like to lose weight by October, but I don't know what's gonna happen. And after being like around these women today, I'm like, you know, whatever it is, and it'll be okay. I had such a nice night. And Kristen, if you're watching, thank you so much. Thank you so much for nominating me to be a model for the runway. It was funny when I was driving to the train station. I could see like the Boston skyline. And when I was younger, I always thought like, oh, maybe I'll get discovered in the mall or something and be a model. And today I'm like, you know, I'm going into Boston because somebody saw something in me. And I get to model on a runway. And I never expected that, like, when I got, like, discovered, it would be because of breast cancer. But you know what? Whatever. I'm walking on a runway, and there's going to be a lot of people there, and they're going to be clapping and applauding. Because we've all been through so much. And everyone's journey is different. It doesn't make someone's journey more or less depending on, like, what treatment you've had. It's a club that you never want to be part of. And yet when you find people that have been through this too, you just know that people have your back. So my gratitude today. I'm grateful for Kristen. She knows who she is. And I'm sure most of you watching that are local know who I'm talking about. She's the one who nominated me to be part of this runway thing. That's not just... There's many reasons why I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful for her being, like, open with me and sharing with me and making me feel less alone and less scared. And I'm grateful to Olivia and Valerie who are doing this whole runway thing. I haven't even experienced all the bells and whistles yet, and I'm already just so grateful to even just have the experience of having headshots taken. Lord knows what I'll be like when we do the runway. I hope I don't cry because I'll have good makeup. I'm so grateful for the people that have been there for me to support me. I've gotten, oh my gosh, my fundraiser, I'm up to over $900 so far in donations, which is crazy and wonderful. I thought like that nobody would like come and I mean, tickets are not cheap, but it's a fundraiser. I mean, it's a nonprofit. They do fantastic work. And, like, I have friends that put down pretty pennies to be able to be there and to cheer me on. And I'll have a table. Like, it was enough people that it was like, oh, let's get a package deal. You know, a year ago when people were just, like, disappearing, I never thought that, like, I would need a package deal to have, to have people come support me for an event like this. And if any one of you are watching, like, we anyone could come. You can watch virtually too, by the way. You can email me or whatever to get information if you want more information, but you can look at Runway for Recovery on, like I said, on online or on social media. They're like all over the place. And I think I'll make my thumbnail into a picture because they gave us a goodie bag that had a shirt and a card in it. I'm just very grateful today. Grateful to live in the Boston area. Because even though it's so hot and like the tea, like I feel comfortable on the tea. And I like Boston a lot. I really do. I know I'm from New York. I should love New York more. But Boston's like clean. It's less smelly in the summer. I mean, New York has its own separate like vibe. But I really like Boston. I really do. All right, I'm going to go because I have to rest, and what the hell, hopefully my ankle will be less swollen by the morning. I'll probably sleep with it like on a pillow, which is just a pain in the ass, but whatever. I have to take my 600 milligrams of Motrin tomorrow morning and then go to have my colposcopy done. Pray that the biopsies are benign, and then go from there. What a day. One thing too, I usually just like sign off and say goodbye, but like I've had a lot of people reaching out, almost primarily all the people that are not people that I know, that have been reaching out, like sharing their experiences with me from watching my vlogs. So I don't like usually like plug anything because I'm not like getting paid to share my life with you. But I do see the impact from like other people and how much it's helping other people. Like some people are like, I'm getting my surgery tomorrow. A lot of people are like, I'm getting my surgery tomorrow or next week or something. And X, Y, and Z really helped me. So the reason why I would say now, like to subscribe to my to this YouTube channel is because of those people. Like, you know, the updates when new videos are out are helpful. Maybe my sarcastic humor will be distracting, but like you just don't know what's going to pop up. And I'm glad that I'm very happy that I'm there for other people. That was like not the initial goal of me doing these vlogs. It truly was a way for me to like vent and just keep track of things, and to know that I'm helping other people just means like so much to me. Like it's my time to give back. So please, if you know people that are going through stuff, you know, let them know that I don't mind sharing all this stuff clearly because I'm on here. Yeah, and just let people know. You know, there's definitely peace and comfort in groups. And I saw that tonight. And if I can be that for people, then like that makes me, you know, super fulfilled. All right. Crossing fingers for tomorrow that I'm not like in a lot of pain and that my tests are benign. I'll see you soon.